welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide where we go over all the shows and movies that got released on streaming, give you our best recommendations, and also the unrecommendations of stuff you probably don't want to see. And of course, at the end of the show, we'll let you know what's coming out so you can set your very own watch list. So let's get started. I want to welcome back a co-host who's been on a 2-week hiatus. He was out there paying his respects to the mouse in Disney World. As of course, now he's back in his hometown of Houston. It's Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. Welcome back, brother.
Hey,
Doing
brother, what's
good?
going on, man? How
You
you
had fun
doing?
out there?
Feeling
Okay,
better? Feeling
okay.
better? Yeah. No, yeah. We had a great time. Unfortunately, we couldn't spend more time with you for obvious reasons. Couldn't do a live
Yeah,
show for obvious
COVID action.
reasons.
COVID hit. Great timing.
Yeah, we had everyone ended up with COVID.
But that
Thank you
being
very
said, you made
much.
time to rest up and see all the good shit on TV because I couldn't really do nothing else anyway. So, for whatever it's worth, there's a lot
That's
of good
true.
stuff, a
That's
lot of
true.
older shows, and we have boys coming out. We all love some boys. And we'll talk about the boys down the
Oh
road
my
on
God,
things.
the tip,
Just a
the
tip,
tip,
just such
dude.
a good show. But obviously, not
Not without my dolphin.
um, no. Good, it's a great
Sorry.
show, man. Everyone should be
Yeah.
watching that show. We'll talk about that when it ends. Obviously, it's 4 episodes in. But yeah, so a lot of good stuff, and so let's get into it, Chewy. Like I said, not a well. Last week was actually kind of busy. Our first busy week in a couple weeks. Uh, One show that ended up, I just guess worthy of circling back on. A show we recommended when it first came out, HBO Max, and that's The Staircase, based off a true story of this Arthur, whatever, who got accused of killing his wife, who he alleged fell down the stairs. Obviously, a staircase. He got convicted and was eventually released. A lot of controversy and all that. So, 10-episode run ended. Of course, starring Colin Firth, who's great. Toni Collette as the wife. Yeah, so I finished this one and I enjoyed it. It's actually pretty good. I will say this: my biggest complaint, I think it overstayed its welcome. 10 episodes was a bit long for this. I thought 8 probably would have hit the sweet spot because the last two kind of just meandered around, wrapping stuff up.
Kind
They
of
could have
drag.
just wrapped
Yeah.
it up in one episode, or again bring it down to 8. But that being said, it was very good, man. It's interesting. I liked how it was done. I liked the ending and kind of a little bit of ambiguity and in terms of whether you believe or not believe that he's guilty or not, right?
Did he or
There's
didn't he?
definitely questions left up in the air, but it's well done, man. So, Drew, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree that I think it could have cut it down to 8, maybe even 7, honestly. Um, and did a little bit more focus on maybe the appeal process and everything going on there because he did win the appeal eventually, but for whatever reason, which I still understand, they could not agree on a trial. It
Yeah,
seems kind of weird, right? I mean, the case gets thrown out. The state doesn't want to drop the case, but they don't want to proceed with another trial. So like, so what are you supposed to do as a person, right? Which seems kind of weird. But no, I mean, great performances. Story, we knew the story. We've
yeah,
seen the documentary on Netflix,
yeah.
which
Very
is a
good
very
documentary.
interesting documentary. I don't recall. The only difference is I don't recall in the documentary the theory about the owl, or maybe
Yeah,
it's been
I
so
don't
long,
remember that
maybe I
either.
forgot
I
about
don't
it.
know if they touched on that or not. Well, that was I
Yeah,
think the owl thing came about, and that's a theory somebody had that she was attacked by an owl. But I thought
yeah, yeah,
that came
yeah. And
about
then the
after the
show, the
documentary
show.
was made. So that's probably why it wasn't. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought because I
Right.
don't
Right.
recall seeing that. So I know that they, like in the show they showed the initial, the fall, right, pre-owl theory, which seemed plausible. Then they showed him attacking her. Okay, seemed plausible, right? But the whole hour theory was new to me, and they didn't really
Right.
spend a whole lot of time on that. One episode maybe. And I'm not sure what was the net result if they ever exhumed the body to check for feather particles or whatever in the bones and stuff. But that seemed to me the most plausible explanation for everything that kind of fit, right? In lieu of all the evidence and everything that was portrayed through the trial and then obviously
Yeah, but I
subsequent
said
appeals
it
and
was
whatnot.
well done. I said good performance all around. I enjoyed it. I still recommend it. A little long, but it's okay. Whatever. It's better a little bit long and then almost too short, and I give
Hmm.
you enough, right? But yeah, it's
Entertaining,
HBO. Cool stuff. It's a
entertaining.
good show. You
Yeah.
guys should check it out. That's the only one I kind of want to circle back on as far as the last week's show. Oh, go ahead.
Well, man, I mean, well, I think
Well, we can
we're
talk
going to
about
talk
Shining
about
Girls.
Shining Girls,
I
I
did
guess,
talk
at some
about that
point as
last week,
well.
but we
Right?
can bring it up again. I did
Okay.
mention that you're probably
Hmm.
chopping at the bit to talk about that. So let's bring it up real
Yeah,
quick.
I,
Yeah.
I do want to met. Well, before we get that, I do want to talk the other one on HBO Max. We own the streets. the police
Yeah,
drama
we
by
own
the
the
makers
city.
of The Wire,
Yeah.
and yes, we own the city. Thank you. 6 episodes, so I think that was the sweet spot for this, right? Because this is a true docu series, right? Dramatization. Benthal was great as the corrupt officer, and I liked the end a lot because I mean they did a good job of kind of portraying later
Yep.
on, not in a linear fashion, but out of back and forth, you know, exposition, explanation, all the various players, and then if you're familiar with The
Mhm.
Wire, same format, right? Drug dealers, police, politicians, schools,
Corruption,
newspapers,
et
docs, the
cetera,
whole
et
nine
cetera.
yards, all interweaved together. Yeah. And I think I said this at the beginning. You know, there is no easy. You didn't get here overnight, and the solution is not something you can just swipe away and make it go away. It's very complex. It's very nuanced. There's a lot of stuff going on. No one wants to take responsibility. No one wants to stick around to try to solve the problem, right? Because we're in a stage where people are more interested in staying in power than trying to solve problems. Because if you're stuck solving a problem and people don't like what happens, you usually vote it out. So what do you do in that situation? How can you solve a problem when no one wants to really solve it, right? And I think the last episode had a great conversation between the DOJ representatives trying to get this whole decree and one of the activists there in the city who kept asking her, it kept asking, and what, and what, and what, you do all this, and what, and so he's trying to drive home to the audience that you know all these things are happening, all things are great, but if no one is there to actually take action, what is the damn
Yeah,
point?
and they kind of reveal more corruption
you
all the way
know,
to the top, right? Which is interesting. Yeah.
no, this is at the top. We're interested in numbers. I mean, it was ridiculous. The number, like every citizen in Baltimore. I mean, over more than half had been arrested
Yeah.
for some stupid, where they stopped, and it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and that's not policing. That's a
Yeah, so
police
yeah,
state
and
at
they did
that
a good
at
job
that
of
point.
kind of bringing it into light. So it was a good show. I enjoyed it a lot on HBO. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the other one, Shining Girls, which one we've been talking about for weeks on Apple Plus, which was for me a must watch. That one ended. I liked how it ended very well. I wasn't blown away by the ending per se, but it stuck the landing, and that's the key. But it's such an interesting show. This sci-fi premise, time travel mixed with this murder mystery idea, kind of blended together. Really worked well for me. So Chewy, like I said, I talked about last week. You can give your thoughts on it.
No, man, I absolutely loved it. Like I said, this is I know this is based on a book, but obviously I don't read too many books. I don't have time to read many books these days. But the premise was original. It was interesting. It was unique. I don't think there's anything quite matches up. We've had time travel shows, we've had murder mysteries, but this is where they kind of meshed, they kind of fused these
Yeah.
two elements together in an interesting, compelling, and must-watch way. I mean, all four performances, great. We had um, Pedro
Yeah, yeah.
Escobar eating again. It was really nice thing. Handmaid's Tale. I mean, so I guess it's good performance all around, but the great story, the villain, it was a good villain, right? I mean, the antagonist and the protagonist kind of going back and forth and trying to figure out and seeing how things are changing as he starts changing history and changing events and seeing things all of a sudden where she doesn't know who she is now. She's got to kind of put the pieces together. But man, I like how it ended, right? I don't know how this is going to lend to a season two. If there's a season two, if this is a
I'm fine
one
with the
season,
one.
and
Like
I'm
I'm
fine
okay
with
with the
it.
one. It
Um,
wrapped it up. I mean, could they
yeah,
branch off to others? I guess, or maybe do like other stories of other people with the house, But whatever. But yeah, either way,
mhm,
I guess it wrapped up enough to where like, okay, didn't do anymore, no problem.
yeah,
But yeah, just a
hmm,
good show. The premise was executed really well. So I'm all for the show. Apple
absolutely.
Plus always giving us good stuff. So excuse me. But yeah, so that one for sure. I said all three shows are worth going back, but the big winner is Shining Girls, without question. This week, Chewy, let's start with the movie. We got one dropping, which I was not looking forward to because it's an Adam Sandler movie and it's on Netflix. And usually Adam Sandler and Netflix.
Hold on, hold on. The
No,
previous
I'm talking about
non-comedy Adam
no.
Sandler movie
Which
was
that's
was
the
pretty
point.
good.
My point where it's just comedies
Okay,
that get released, which are pretty
yeah,
they're
okay.
shitty. Let's be honest, they're terrible.
It's just grown ups part whatever, 1 point whatever.
Excuse me. So yeah, it's just trash after trash. And I know they got out of reviews because it's Adam Sandler. He's still a big name, but he does good in dramatic stuff. I mentioned last week Uncut Gems was not a Netflix movie, but it was on Netflix for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Very good film. He was great in it. I like that a lot. He's some other dramatic stuff which works. So this was more the dramatic stuff. I'm like, okay. And it's about he's a scout for the 76ers Philadelphia, and he has aspirations to become a coach, and he actually gets to be assistant coach. But then ownership kind of shifted, and now he's kind of got shipped back into scouting. So he's trying to find the next big thing, if you will. And he ends up he goes to Spain. There's this really unknown, entity, a player who doesn't really play anyway, just plays a hustles people in street courts. So he decides, hey, this guy's like a unicorn and wants to bring him on board and make him an NBA player, right, for the 76ers and all that. Excuse me. So, it's a sport. Most of these sports stories are kind of the same, right? You know what's going to happen. At the end, you kind of it's just formula to it. But it's all about the execution, right? Making us like the characters and actually want to see them succeed. And in that sense, this movie did well, man. I actually kind of like this in the film, to be honest with you. I'm a basketball fan. It's all good. You see a lot of old school players, new players, all kind of blended in, which is kind of nice. Kenny Smith, we see in TNT all the time. He plays like an agent in this one. Queen Latifah's in this as well. But it was good, man. Actually, I'm surprised that I actually enjoyed this one. It was a good story. Again, formulaic, but well done. And I like Sanders' character, and I like the basketball player, Bo. Like you really give a shit about what's going on with these guys and the relationship they're forming. I enjoyed it. It's just a good Netflix film, man. So, Chewy, what do you think?
No, man, yeah, I like
Yeah.
Uncut Gems a lot.
Oh,
I
that's
had
true.
some NBA players as well, but it was a very interesting story. Not a happy ending
Yeah.
on that one. Very dramatic, right? What happened to that character? But this one's a little bit
Yeah.
different, a little bit more upbeat. And him trying to find success, obviously, and trying to formulate that success to a player that he finds and kind of bring him on board. Great performances all around. I also has Ben Foster as well, which I'm a big fan of. He's been in a lot of stuff that we've liked over the years. And like I said, it was a good entertaining watch, man. I mean, so this is probably the
Oh, yeah.
upper
This is
half of,
definitely, yeah.
of
I'm
the
not saying it's
Netflix movies, and I
in the
think they would
10%, but
make more of this type of movie than some of the junk, aka Interceptor.
please don't bring that up again. Um,
Yeah, I have to because for whatever god awful reason, it's like people are watching. I'm like, I don't get it, people. Don't watch. It's junk. It's not even like it's so bad it's good. It's
the
just so
movie's
bad
just
it's bad.
it's an atrocity. It's so fucking bad. But that being said, this is all the way on the opposite side of the spectrum. It's a much better film. Really well done. I definitely
Mm.
recommend this. A high recommend for me. It's not in the 10% of great Netflix films, but it's definitely in that 60% good film, right? And the upper part of that scale for me. So yeah, good job
Mm.
with them. Like I said, Adam Sandler just do drama. Forget the comedy. The comedy just doesn't work, man. He can. This is as bad as The Interceptor, as far as I'm concerned. The other show let's go to the shows now. The first one came on Disney Plus. The next Marvel show, MCU, Miss Marvel, if you will, about a girl who Pakistani, if I'm not mistaken, Kamala Khan, her name, and kind of coming of age
Yes.
story kind of thing. It's very John Hughes esque, a lot of Scott Pilgrim elements added to this, and she's a big nerd. She's going to this Avengers Con, the first one ever, and all that, and yeah,
I
I see.
want to
That'd
go
be
to
kind of cool. To
Avengers
be honest, I was
Con.
like, man, that's a good idea. Excuse me, I'm surprised I don't have one. Her favorite superhero is Captain Marvel. She dresses up like her to go to the con, whatever. And then towards the end of the show, she's endowed with super abilities and becomes a hero, so to speak, right? So that's kind of where the show ends. One episode. And Chu, I'll let you go first. What do you think about this one?
Man, this was a lot of fun. We can play a lot about Marvel shows. Some good, some not so good, some long, whatever. But I think this is the sweet spot where it's a origin story for a new character introducing, right? But this is not the character that would necessitate having a movie or could maybe support a movie. She could be part in a movie, right, in future movies. But I think it's a great way to introduce someone new in a different fashion, right? Kind of like they did with Spider-Man, but I think this one is different in its fact because it has a lot of Scott Pilgrim elements, right? A lot of graphic stuff
Yeah,
going on,
very
kind of seeing
stylistic.
what's inside her head. But she's genuinely likable. She's genuinely into, or at least she portrays someone that's really into someone like you or me at that age, and living in a world where you have Avengers and superheroes, and that's why I thought the whole Avenger con was so cool.
Yeah,
It's like I
that was
want
a
to
really
reach,
cool
and I
element.
want to
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
man.
That was very nice. Yeah, really well done.
Yeah. Did and obviously, and she's in high school, so she's dealing with parents and
Yeah,
probably overly strict parents, and because of her background and who she is, right? But she's trying to branch out and not necessarily rebel, but she wants to be her own person, right? She wants to do her own
yeah.
thing. She's not doing anything
No, I
wrong,
agree. Yeah, yeah.
right? And 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 so that's typical of someone of that ilk and in that time frame and the times that we live in. So, like I said, that was a good start. Let's see how it goes. But
Yeah, I enjoyed a
I
lot.
thought it
You know,
was a
I
lot of fun to
mentioned
watch.
in my other show, Nurse Splitting here on Thursdays, that I compared her Kamala Khan's character to Haley Steinfeld's character in Hawkeye, where not see, that's the difference between someone who's written very likable and Kamala Khan as opposed to having Steinfeld's character. This one just you can't help but like her a lot. It's a very positive show. Again, it's fun, entertaining. It's a good, more family oriented show. I think more for kids. That's a plus if you have kids. But I'm enjoying it. 21 episode. It could sink, but so far I'm on board, man. Good job on that. It's one of the better shows I think they've released in terms of Marvel. So yeah, I'm all for it. The next one here on Netflix, one that I was looking forward to. Both were fans of this show, and that's the Peaky Blinders, sixth season, final season, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's supposed to be
Thomas
a
Shelby.
movie or something. Maybe I heard rumors. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Something, yeah, something down the road. This
Right,
will be the
but
final
yeah,
TV
exactly.
season,
Final as far as
definitely.
the series is concerned, wrapping it up, and we always say, right, it's how we end here. How is stick the landing essentially? I like the show. It's a period piece, and it's Peaky Blinders. You got Cillian Murphy. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I hear it both ways. Where he plays Thomas Shelby, and he leads this kind of gypsy, gang or whatever, and they're into prohibition, alcohol, gambling, and all that. So it's a kind of like a gangster kind of show, very in your face and raw, and I've enjoyed it. So, I gotta say I'm disappointed in this season thus far. I think about halfway through.
Uh, Oh wow,
Is
oh,
okay.
it was only
Okay.
6 episodes,
So,
so
excuse me, and
yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, but it's you compare it against the other seasons, and it just seems because there's so much that's gone on, right? This picks up at the end of the events in season 5, and then it takes like a 4-year jump, a time jump forward. And Tommy
Hmm.
Shelby, he's not the same kind of guy. His brother is not the same kind of guy, and everyone else has died for the most part, right? So these characters that we're so used to seeing, that dynamic is not there anymore. That's what made this show really cool. This guy's kind of maneuvering in and out of the whole alcohol business and gambling and all that. That's kind of not there anymore. And now it's gotten pretty dour, right? And the show's lost some of that edge, some of the fun that had behind it. Maybe it picks up and ends well, but the episode I just left off was like, damn, it's very hard hitting. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but a little let down thus far. True, your thoughts?
I've only seen one. I like
Excuse me.
that first episode back, but yeah, this is season 6, and so we've seen a big transition from the onset of the Peaky Blinders gang, and very family oriented. A lot of cousins, a lot of things going on. And I think it was Birmingham,
Yeah, I think so.
England,
Yeah,
to now where they're at now, where they're trying to do international drug
yeah. He's
dealing
trying to go into the opium
and
business now.
smuggling
Yeah,
and whatnot.
surviving.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I've enjoyed this show. I'm a big fan of this show. I like the first episode, so I can't say how what the next episodes will how I'll react based on your feedback. But I mean, I'm still gonna watch regardless. I'm still gonna
Of
bring
course,
it
yeah.
home
I mean,
and
yeah,
let's
yeah.
see
It's not
how
like
it
it's
ends.
almost a
But
bad show. It's just compared to the other ones, it's kind of a step down. It's not Game of Thrones. It's leveled down.
mhm.
They make that clear. But it's
Yeah.
definitely not what I was hoping for. Kind of ending with a bang. It's hard to see where they're going with how they're taking the direction of the show. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody out there, but
Mhm.
yeah, but still, it's a good show. I still recommend the show if anyone hasn't seen it. If you like the kind of gangster kind of shows, this is one of the better ones I thought on Netflix. So looking forward to see how it ends at the end of the day. Um, Stay
Yeah.
with Netflix. We got a couple of shows on Netflix, and this one's Intimidad or Intimacy for the Spanish
Mhm.
Spanish individuals out there. Um, it's the
España.
Spanish show. Spanish shows usually are them and Korean is probably the best in terms of international shows. They've been the best too.
Well,
Well,
when we say Spanish,
from
we're
Spain,
talking about
correct.
shows from
Yes,
Spain, not just
correct.
that they're in
The stars,
Spanish.
I forgot her name, but she was in La Casa de Papel, Money Heist.
Money
She's the
Heist.
professor's
Yes.
love
Hmm.
interest, former cop. Excuse me. And this one here, she's and obviously it takes place in Spain. She's in politics. She's going to be running for mayor apparently, And then one day there is a video released of her, an uncompromising situation of the sexual nature, which threatens to kind of bring a downfall of her career and all in her family. And
Sex on the beach.
and I guess she, instead of playing the victim, she decides to stand her ground, right? And says, they want her to obviously resign, and she's not doing it. She's going to stick her ground and say, no, this is not going to bring me down. And she tries to figure out what's going on. There's someone else who suffers a similar situation with the videos and photos released of her who committed suicide, and it's kind of tying in that story. So, Chu, let you go first on this one. What do you think so far or not?
No, I've
Okay.
only seen, I've only had a chance to see one episode. I
Right.
think this is 8 episode run. And so, like I said, I'm a big fan of a lot of these Spanish dramas. Not all, some, right? There's some that are just a little longer than two. But I think that this one had the right length on the first episode, an interesting story. Like I said, a good, solid Spanish drama. Yeah, I kind of need that to cleanse the palate from some of the
Yeah,
sci-fi or stuff I
you're
watch
right.
from time
It's a
to
good
time,
change of pace.
right? Something a little more, yeah, yeah, good change of pace, good contemporary, serious, right? It's not funny. This is a lot better than the show that you actually like. I didn't like very much that Chilean show that we watched before we went on vacation. The one about the daughter was dead and the investigation. And I
Oh, right, right. No,
turned it
yeah,
off
I'm not
after
going to
one
show better
episode. I
too. I
just couldn't
agree with you.
stand
And
it.
it was a similar show on
Yeah,
Netflix,
yeah,
about the politician
hmm
who was accused of rape or whatever the case is. Kind of similar vein. I'm liking this one a lot more than
yeah,
that one as well. Because this one really focuses on the characters. Like
hmm
I've seen like three, I think, of this one. So focus on the character and what she's going through, her mindset, and the families, which is what the other show lacked, right? In terms of the other political show where the guy had his issues. But it's well done. And you're right. It's a good change of
yes,
pace show. I'm enjoying it. It's not amazing. It's not gonna blow you away, but it's good, solid, well made, good story. It's slow paced. Obviously, it's just not an action show, but it's good. I'm enjoying it. So it's a recommend for me. It's actually gone pretty well. You're
hmm
right. It's good length, 40 some minutes. It's exactly where it needs to be. It's got subtitles, so
yeah.
everybody get excited.
Yeah, I've seen some Spanish shows that are like hour 15, hour 20 per
That's too long.
episode, and like, no,
This is a 40,
that's too
45
long.
minute, more
You
typical
know,
Netflix
yeah,
stuff, which I think hits the right spot. And again, it's relevant, involved in cyber crimes and things
yes,
like that. We see it all the time, so it's pretty relevant what's going on. And again, and how her reaction, I think, and that's what focuses
hmm
the show. So I'm enjoying it. It's well made. I'm liking it.
yes.
Unlike this next show,
Oh
Netflix
God,
again,
yes.
First Kill.
I'm out.
Oh, I'm out
That's
of this
it.
show.
I'm out.
Um,
No, no,
this.
no, no kills, dude.
Go ahead, please.
Look,
Floor's yours.
Let me start off. Eh, 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 I watch plenty of YA type stuff,
Yeah,
so I'm not like I'm
you're more
anti
into it than I am in
YA,
terms of
right?
the
I'm not
YA
the
stuff,
man
for
beast.
sure.
Yes, yeah, right, And but this show, I just could not. I mean, after one episode, I was like, all right, I'm taking off the list. First, the it looked like they didn't put much money
Oh, they didn't.
into
They didn't.
CGI or
It's
or
not that it seemed like it did. They did not.
or no,
Which is
yeah,
fun. Listen, it's
yeah,
fun.
they
It's fun,
didn't.
man. The
Or
show's not.
graphics.
Well, I mean,
No,
because
it's
the
not
show's not
fun because
reliant.
if you're gonna if this is gonna be a vampire,
Oh,
no, but this is still a vampire hunter
fine,
werewolf
fair.
show, right? At the end of the day, love interest, right? And if you're gonna do that, I mean, you got to make the whatever you're fighting, look, semi-realistic. And this is just like guys in
No, it's
costume.
bad.
It's like this is just terrible, man. It, the story
You know what
is
this
just
is? This is
I
CW.
don't
That's what
care.
this is, right? This show is designed for a certain
Yes.
demographic of which we don't match. So I get it, and I'm sure there's an audience for this. That I don't doubt for a sec, because CW still survives, right? With shows that are shitty as hell, of the same ilk.
Well, I mean, maybe not
Well,
anymore
well,
because they put
recently
like
they're
every
becoming.
show
But I
now.
mean, this has been around for a long time. But it's just like, and it's funny because I like the idea of it. It's cool, right? I mean, you have one family, right? Two
hmm
families mainly, right? One of them they're legacy vampires, right? Daywalkers, if you will go back to Blade and Pure
hmm
Bloods. And with the youngest
hmm
girl, she's at the age where she needs to make her first kill, right? To begin to finish the process or
hmm
whatever. And the other side, you have another family who works for this guild who are monster hunters. That's what they are. And one of the youngest girl, she's obviously trying to get her first kill. They're supposed to be each other's first kill, if you will, but they end up, I guess, in a relationship. So now that they're, obviously at odds with each other and with their family. So interesting premise there. But yeah, it's just so young. It's so young. It's CW, man, cheesy as shit. melodramatic. The music cues, like, oh my god, it's like putting on MTV. It's just, again, I think it's, some people might like it because if you're around that 12 to 18 range, you like shit on CW, by all means, I'm sure people are gonna like this show. I really do. It just ain't for us. I can tell you right now. And you like why I hate YA shit. You're more tolerant of it than I. But yeah, I saw 1.5. I was like, let me get 1.5 episode. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, it's too. Yeah,
No, I just
yeah.
saw one,
It's
and I was
for me.
like, I'm
This is
taking
dog
this
shit.
off the list.
This
It's
is
not
for me.
good.
This is a show you don't want to watch when
Yeah.
you have COVID. It's not good at all. But we're gonna finish strong here. Gotta cleanse that palate of that nonsense first kill. So we're gonna end off with For All Mankind,
Uh,
a show on Apple Plus, which we're big fans of. This is a show that you caught on first. I jumped on after the fact. It's season 3, sci-fi show, which I think we both agree is must-watch television. As far as I'm concerned, it's really well made.
this is more alternative
Well,
history than
fair enough. You're
sci-fi,
right.
honestly.
You're absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's obviously with the space program and now we're Mars and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think third season just started, but just show that. Yeah, I'll talk about. Wrong one. For all the seasons, I think is one that people need to go watch if you haven't done so. Chewy, your thoughts on season 3 thus far?
No, like I said, I caught this on early on. This is the reason that I got Apple Plus, because I had heard about the show and I was really interested, right?
Yeah,
And I'm into alternative history type shows, right? But this one is so well grounded, so
yeah.
plausible, and starting with the onset of the space program, and it's unique in that this does
Mm,
time jumps after each season. So the first season was the beginning of the space program, late 60s, early 70s. Second season goes into early
90s
80s,
or
right? And
85,
now
I
we're
think.
at early 90s. Um, eh,
Right? No,
yeah, no,
92.
well, I think it's 92. They talk about 96. I think it's a
Okay,
4-year
okay,
program to get to
okay.
Mars, right? So it's 92, right? But they interlace, characters that you care about, a story that makes sense, right? You got to take a few leap of faith here and there, but I think they tied into a relevant history, real history, right? And modifying some things, and kind of playing. So what if this happened and this happened? What would be the net result, right? And see if things progress, right? And do it in an interesting way that it's like, oh man, this is a very very good show, man. It's good. It's worth watching. Forget the sci-fi and space element. I mean, just a good drama, and the way that they're telling it's unique, and that's what I look for, right? Unique storytelling,
That's well told, right? There's
compelling
unique premises out
storytelling.
there that are executed like shit,
Yes.
right? But this one's executed well, good
Hmm.
characters.
Yeah.
And I think that's what carries this show. You can have the best premise in the world, right? Like Shining Girls has a great premise that could have gone
Hmm.
sideways really quick, right? But the premise is there and supported by good storytelling, good characters, etc., etc. This is really good. This is a show. I don't think a lot of people. I don't know
Hmm.
how popular the show is. Like I said, I jumped on it late because I was like, space program. It didn't interest me.
I mean, I think it's building a building a following, because I see a lot of articles out there talking
Yeah, it's
about
one
this
of those
show
that
and how good
it's
it
picking up
is, right?
steam, man.
You know, I've seen the exaggeration saying the best sci-fi TV. I was like,
Let's
okay, slow
calm.
down, everybody,
Okay.
roll.
But
Yeah.
relax, take a deep breath. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Easy there. I've seen them
Yeah,
all.
it's not the
It's
best.
up there, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
not the
fine.
best. Not by
Yeah,
far. Okay, but it's
yeah.
good, entertaining. It's fun, right? I like how they play with history a little bit, right? And you see certain things that happen that in our world, in our real history, we will put a quash on and stop. But in here, they explore that, right? We got fusion develop. We got space tourism developing. But it's a natural progression of
Mm.
where things could have gone, right? They play with a little bit of politics and policies and stuff. So it's good when you can see how things have changed, but it's not just this is not like
No, of
Sliders, right?
course,
Where you
yeah.
change one thing and it's
No,
like, oh,
not at
what
all.
would happen? Yeah. So, but it's yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. If you haven't
it's
started
good. And
watching,
you're right.
go
It's not
back,
like a
start
pure. It's
watching
not like
season
pure.
one.
That's why I wouldn't say it's one of the best sci-fi shows. It's not really sci-fi. I know I said it, but it has sci-fi elements. But it's not like the
Yes,
Expanse
it's really
and
not.
Foundation are
It's
better
alternative
sci-fi
history.
shows,
Yeah,
pure sci-fi. This is just a better show overall
absolutely.
than both of those, right? Just in terms of everything coming together and the story and all that. So all good shows, though, don't get me wrong. But yeah, this is one absolutely must watch. I guess Apple Plus is they've been doing it, man. They do what they do, and good for them. And the Shining Girls is ending, and there's a couple shows I'm watching now and that now. So good recommend for both of us. That being said, that ends everything got released this week, but next week it's a decent week, and I like next week because it's a nice and spread out. We got stuff on Sunday, we got stuff on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you just time to kind of digest and all that.
Oh, I forgot to add a show that started today.
I do have
Maybe
that. It's one
you
that
saw your
starts
list.
today.
I
So
can
it's
see.
yeah. So let's start
Okay,
with
good.
that.
Okay, good.
Excuse
Yes.
me, for next week. Well, for this week anyway. And, it starts today, right? Today's the 12th Sunday, and AMC Plus. I know there's like 10 people subscribed, not counting me and Chewy. Hopefully there's more. But yeah, Dark Winds. It's just kind of takes place in the 70s, and I guess tribal police of the reservation, Indian reservation, whatever. And a couple of murders go
Reservation.
on,
Yeah.
and they're investigating it. That's pretty much all I know. It looks interesting, and AMC's been doing very well lately. We talk about Apple Plus, but AMC, I mean, with shows like the show I talked about, which you brought up to my attention, that This One's Gonna Hurt. I think that's what it's called. Really good show.
Yo, man,
Yeah,
that is a great
yeah, good medical drama,
medical
dark
drama,
comedy.
man.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
The main
yeah, good dark
character who
comedy. I
played
enjoyed it.
Q,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
breaks the fourth wall, right? But I mean, it's that is. I've seen the second episode, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
like,
really good show.
I'm
That
all
could
in.
be a
I'm
chance
hooked
for a
on that
must
show.
watch. Just wait to see how it ends first. We'll probably talk about that when it does end. That's a weekly show, but Ipcris Files,
Hmm.
another one I'm enjoying. We got, of course, 61st Street, which is good. That Dirty Black Bag. So they've been kind of on a roll, man. So I'm looking forward to this one. This one's not exactly exciting in terms of the premise, but execution-wise, let's see what they do. And I trust. And AMC's been. It's again, I trust them now. They've been consistent with the show. So that's out today. They're probably releasing one episode, right? Probably.
Yeah, probably
That's
one.
true. They
They
usually do
don't. They
one
have
a
never
weekly, exactly.
revealed
So that's
more
our
than two
recent show on
episodes.
that.
Actually, I was kind of surprised that Apple Plus didn't
Oh,
release multiple
yeah,
episodes
you're
of
right.
for All Mankind. And I saw one. I was like, okay, because everything before usually been two or three, and now this maybe because this is established. Okay,
Yeah, that's
I
probably what it
understand
is.
it.
I'm thinking,
Maybe.
I guess. But yeah, I'm surprised I only did one, which whatever, I'm fine with. On the 15th, I believe it's Wednesday, we had a docu-series called Web of Make Believe. This is an interesting one. This seems like a
Hmm.
anthology kind of documentary, right? They're separate stories in relation to misinformation stuff on the web and all that. Am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah, it's all connected to web, deceit, corruption, scams, right? And but the common thread is this is all web based type of events. And I think there's one episode per. I'm not
I
sure how
think
many
this.
episodes there is, but
I think it's six, but yeah,
it's
yeah,
a documentary.
everyone's one complete story, so it
Yeah.
doesn't carry over through six, a full story, right?
So it kind of like the one we saw
Yes,
with the
yes.
heist, right? Where there is like two episodes per heist to kind of tell the whole story. Here's one episode per
Right.
crime,
Exactly.
event, scam, whatever. And so, like I said,
Yeah,
we're a
Netflix.
big
Yeah,
fan of
Netflix
good
usually. Yeah.
documentaries, and Netflix has
Oh
given
no,
us
but by far,
more
time it
good than
goes,
bad.
they usually do very well with the documentaries more so than the films by far. Still on Netflix, same day, and that's Iron Chef, reality show cooking. I love the cooking shows. I love cooking shows,
Squeeze
especially on
on.
Netflix. They give us so much cooking shows. We know talk about those because whatever it is what it is. But
But this is not obviously
this
not a Netflix show.
originally
This
right,
was a
correct.
Food Network show.
Well,
Well, actually,
yes,
originally Japanese show from way
oh yeah,
back
yeah,
when,
it's done
probably
well.
'90s, but I'm mistaken. Got ported over to US on
Food
the
Network.
Cooking Network or whatever it's called, Food Network. Thank you. And had the I think the host that we record. I think the host we've seen in a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
movies and whatnot. And so, but that went by the wayside, right? And they brought on variations, and now they're reviving it on Netflix
Mm-hmm.
with Alton Brown, right, who used to work on the Food Network, and also the main host. I can't remember his name, but he was an
He was
action
in I think
actor.
John
We've
Wick.
seen him.
John Wick 3. Yeah,
He was in
yeah,
John
yeah.
Wick 3. Yes, Parabellum. Yeah, so if you've seen that, you recognize him, right? And the whole squeeze on. So let's see what the
Yeah,
Netflix
yeah,
take
exactly.
is
But
on
it's
this,
usually
right?
they're usually
So.
fun shows. I like the cooking shows on that one. So that's like on Wednesday. On
Mhm.
the Thursday, 16th, FX/Hulu, we have an interesting show called The Old Man. Good cast: John Lithgow, Jeff Bridges in this one. I guess Bridges is an
Mhm.
ex FBI or CIA agent, whatever. He's retired, something like that. And I guess there's an assassin sent after him. Or he's
Well, I thought he was
ex-military.
an ex
He's ex-mercenary, but okay, okay.
mercenary assassin. I don't
And
think he was
yeah, so I
CIA.
guess
Yes, yeah. I would equate him
that's
to
okay.
an
Well,
old
then
John Wick,
just by that you're selling
for
me already.
comparison's sake.
But yeah, I guess someone's trying to kill him now, and he's doing his things. Retired, I guess, but now CIA
Yeah.
and FBI get involved. Now everyone's going after him for some reason. Looks interesting. Hulu does pretty well in effects usually, so I'm looking forward to that one again on the 16th. And then we got a movie, so we're gonna roll that die on Netflix again. Netflix film. Let's hope we get more hustle than The Interceptor here, and that's Spiderhead. Good cast. Miles Teller, who has been in the role with The Offer, which we'll probably talk about next week. He was in Top Gun Maverick, of course, who's his son, and Chris Hemsworth, of course, Thor himself. So it's got a good cast. I think Hemsworth is a scientist who is experimenting on these inmates in particular jail cell and things, psychological kind of testing or whatever, something along those lines. And of course, things aren't always what they seem. Kind of an action, kind of like an action kind of film. Again, it's Netflix, so I don't know. It's like a box of chocolate. Right? Forrest Gump. You never know what you're gonna get here. I hope it's good. I mean, they usually do better with some of the action stuff, Intercepting that than some of the other works. Things like Old Guard and Power.
Let's see.
Decent, fun, entertaining ones. Even the other one with Ken Chambers.
Well, the previous one I Hemsworth did with Netflix. What was it?
Sequel.
That was a good sequel.
But that was decent. Again, decent action films, right? They usually do pretty well with these. Even like the one with The Rock, but notice I enjoyed that one for what it was, and the Adam Project, which actually
that was fun, man.
That was better than average by far. So let's see. Again, that comes out on the 17th. So a lot of spread out. Gives us time to catch up. We'll probably, I think a couple of shows. The offer is ending next week, so we'll probably end up talking about that one. Is Now and Then ending on Apple? I'm not sure.
I think that was 7, so this might be what we had. Now and Then might be wrapping up. That one. I think Barry's getting close
some of those shows and all that, so.
To the end. Yeah, we're still watching Kenobi.
I'm not even gonna go there. It's no Interceptor, so that's on the plus side now. I want to be negative Nancy here.
No, but I mean, this is giving us what we
Kenobi after a good start.
For us to
is
expect anything different from any Star Wars show is you're just setting yourself for failure. This is just more of the same.
A good start to the
That's
show.
all it is. More of the same.
Yeah, we're back to.
Yeah, but that wasn't the focus.
Like I said, now it's back to.
I think you said it best in Nurse Plane. The whole Keystone Cops. It's why?
I hated last episode. I talked.
I mean, it was bad with Leia and Alderaan, but now we get her. She's under the code like that. No one see what's under the code.
I hate last episode. I really do. I mean, like I said, I spoke my piece, and what it is. But like I said, listen, this other good Miss Marvel's a far superior show on Disney Plus. We still got the Boys,
absolutely,
which is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. A lot of good shows on there, so lots to watch. So if you haven't started Kenobi, you're not missing anything.
Super. We got Jamie. Jamie, the
although
super
I gotta go to pick up the boys, and I'll wait till Nurse Plane to deal with that. I'll wait. I'll reveal that Nurse Plane in a small bone. I'm just saying.
Stop it. No,
there's a bone to pick, and I'll be picking that bone. That's what I'm saying.
Well. Which dildo did you pick? Let me put it that way.
And I'll tease by saying it's not in regards to the quality of the show, but it's something that was done, which I am vehemently opposed to. And I'll leave it at that. But it's a show. It's a great episode. Probably the best episode of the season. Despite my own gripe. Again, I'll get to that on Thursday. But that being said, so that's it for the week. So I guess a good week next week. A lot of shows to watch and catch up on. Hope you guys can enjoy some of these. Of course, subscribe us. Join us every Sunday at 12 o'clock usually. Let you know what's coming out. Let you know what we've seen and what to avoid, like The Interceptor or First Kill for that matter. So thanks again. We appreciate it. See you guys next week.